All right. So, hey, everybody. I am so excited to talk to you and introduce you to today's guest. I have followed this woman. I sound like a stalker. I have followed her. Oh my gosh. I think it's been like 12 years now, maybe a little bit more. I met her at an eWomen Network conference and was so impressed by her that, I just started following her blog and following her on social media and stuff. So I'm really thrilled to be able to introduce you to Katrina Sawa, who is just an incredible woman with an incredible story. So Katrina, thank you so much for coming on the show today.
Thanks, Tracey. That's awesome. I know it's been forever. We've been like online internet friends. I mean, we've seen each other a couple times. I think a couple times in person.
Once or twice. I mean, we met in person.
Right.
That's when I first was connected to you because you were at, we were at the eWomen Network conference together.
Yeah.
And you had a booth and everything. And I think you had a breakout session or something. But
yeah,
that was back when I actually had a JOB.
Oh.
That's been like 11 years.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. That was like 2008 or 9 when I had the breakout
Something
there.
like that. Yeah. So it's been a while.
Yeah.
So yeah. So I'm, excited to have you on and just tell everybody about you. So, and I mean, I know a lot about you business-wise, but I don't really know a whole lot about you personal-wise. So I'm excited to get to know a little bit more about what makes you tick.
Well, I'm one of those kind of gals who never had a plan B when she started her business. I'm not into plan Bs. I go full out into something. I jump into the deep end. I put both feet in. I'm that kind of a person because I think if you just have a toe in the water or you have a thought of, well, if this doesn't work out, then I'll go back and do this. That just is not a good, it doesn't tell the universe that you're really serious, number one, right? So when I started my business, I didn't even look back. And I was in advertising sales. I've been in a lot of sales and marketing type jobs. And when I started my business, I was married to my starter husband. And
starter husband, I like that.
Well, and at the time, we always go into a marriage thinking it's going to be the perfect marriage and this is going to last forever, right? Yeah. So until I started my business and I realized he had huge fears about inconsistent income coming in, which is what we entrepreneurs usually experience in the first 3 to 5 years of our business is inconsistent income.
Right.
And so he had so many fears that we just really grew apart. He wasn't interested in being a part of what I was building and didn't even know what I did, frankly, and wouldn't even come to a local speaking gig, even if it was after work or whatever. So I realized, I needed somebody who would support me 100%. So part of my story is really about not settling, right? So I decided I was 2 years too long into that marriage after the business. But I realized I can do this on my own. I just had to believe and I just had to go for it. And so I did, and I left the marriage and we didn't have any kids. So it was a little easier, but even if you have kids, it's not worth staying in something that's not supportive, that's not loving. Yeah. And we basically felt like roommates. So that's really where I got started. And some of the lessons I teach now came from those days, right? But I didn't realize it when you're in the middle of the story, you don't see the message and the lesson.
Yeah, it's a little bit tough. It's kind of like being deep in the water and trying to see the sky. It just doesn't work that way.
Yeah. So went out on my own. And then I was, of course, single for quite some time. I had to get back on my feet financially, and it didn't take long, really. I was pretty determined. But the dating scene, so I'm the kind of gal, too, that likes to be in a relationship. Of course, I can be happy by myself, but I'm much happier when I'm with somebody that is a good fit and a love partner,
Right.
And so after a year or so of being single, I was like, okay, I need to get online. And I was looking online for doing the dating thing. And boy, because I'm all about systems in my business and helping people with lead generation, marketing, follow-up, sales systems to, attract more leads and get them through the funnel and all that kind of jargon. I did that with my online dating experiences. So it's a funny story. I actually created a whole system for women, for online dating for women over 40, and how to do it more efficiently to sort through to find the one.
That doesn't surprise me, sadly.
I know. And again, I realized once I was starting to talk to all my friends about what I was doing, and I had a spreadsheet, and I totally marked them all specifically, strategically in my phone, because I'd have 2 Roberts, right? And so I'd have to do Plenty of Fish Robert and then Matched Robert. And so I would keep a certain way to keep them in my phone. I had written notes on everybody, and like nobody was doing that was online dating. And I was like, oh my God, you have to keep them straight. Otherwise, like, how can I keep all this in my head? I can't remember. So at one point I remember dating 10 people at one time, and not just dating them, but like talking to them, right? And trying to schedule dates to meet them. There's no way. It's like having 30 clients one-on-one. It's like, that's a little much, right? So anyways, that was a fun experience. Met a lot of the wrong guys, and finally found one. The year that I actually, the first year that I actually did 6 figures in my business was the same year I found who I thought was going to be the love of my life. So at the end of the year, I'm like, yay, I have love and money at the end of the year. And so that's really where it stemmed the book that I wrote, Love Yourself Successful. It stemmed the first live event that I did, Love and Money Business Summit. All that stuff stemmed from that one year. So that was an experience.
I remember those products coming out.
Yeah, and then it's just kind of more from there, right? We always have to be open to the evolution of ourselves and our businesses.
Yeah.
And I still talk about love and money. In fact, I have a love and money event once a year now still. But it's changed quite dramatically, and it's probably the most fun event that I do, because it's not just about business and marketing. It's about mindset and relationships and being happy too. And that's really where my passion lies, is helping people create their happiest life ever. And to me, that means love plus money equals happiness plus health. I've had a lot of health challenges in the last 6 years, so now I have to talk about health too.
Yeah, definitely. It's important, especially as an entrepreneur. I think it's easy for us to not focus on our healthcare because we're so focused on our business. So health is definitely very important. So you overcame this. You came out of, the wrong marriage, and you did get married again, right? If I remember right, a couple years ago?
I did. Yeah, our anniversary's coming up this summer, so it'll be 4 years, but we've been together since 2012.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, I remember. I remember seeing that on Facebook. So that's fantastic. Now,
he's amazing. Now he's starting his own business, and so I can't wait. So he's
that always helps when you have somebody who understands and can go through this with you, and you can bounce ideas off each other and that kind of that really helps when it comes to being an entrepreneur, for sure.
Yeah.
I work with my husband. He helps me. He does a lot of my grunt work that I don't want to do. And it's nice having him here, and having him, I can kind of bounce some things off of him. He's learned enough over the past 5 years that I can kind of say, hey, I'm thinking about doing this, and he can kind of play devil's advocate. But yet on the flip side, like when I wanted to start Daring Woman and cut my VA business severely back, he's not a risk taker at all. So that like really scared him, but he's still been very, very supportive. And that's crucial, no matter what you're doing in life, to have that support.
Oh, it is. And even before Jason decided he was going to start his own business, I mean, when I met him, he was in mortgage. And so that was kind of entrepreneurial because you had to still get your own clients, but it was very much, there was a, basic paycheck coming in still.
Right.
was treated more like a job because you worked for a company. Mm-hmm. So he was still interested in coming to conferences with me and watching me at speaking gigs and talking about my vision and what I'm doing. And that was a big difference. So important.
It is. So, when you work with people and you're working with your clients, how are you helping them to develop that mindset and, overcome the fear of going out on your own?
Oh gosh. Well,
I know that's a big one.
That's a big question. And it's a little bit more custom to each person, right? So some people might have, I was talking to somebody yesterday and she had toxic people in her life. So she actually lived with her mom and her sister. She had to move back in with them because she had gotten a divorce. And her sister is really toxic, meaning not like mean and spiteful, but she has her own fears, and then she pushes her fears about this gal's decisions and entrepreneurial path onto her, which, it doesn't help. So to have toxic people in your life, meaning they're going to naysay the things that your dreams and your passion, well, that just squashes your energy. That's completely different of a situation than somebody who doesn't necessarily have that situation, but you have doubts about if you're good enough, or who am I to do this when there's 20 other experts that do it and have been doing it for 10 years, kind of.
I know that one right there.
Right? What?
I said, I know that belief right there.
There's a lot of these beliefs, right? And then there's the belief that you have to work hard to make a lot of money. And so the people think they have to, keep doing the job because they don't believe the business is going to pay them more than the job. And there's a lot of different situations that people get into or that are in if they're trying to do their own business. And I wish there was an easy way to just say, oh, snap my fingers and boop, you're cured, moving right along.
Wouldn't that be nice? That ranks right up there with, here, take this pill and you'll lose 90 pounds overnight.
Oh, God, I need one of those.
I do too. I do too. So, listeners, any of you know where that pill is?
Listen, universe, right?
Grow up.
Bring us the pill.
I want to be able to eat donuts and pizza and lose weight. That would be fantastic. That would be the perfect diet.
I don't even want to eat donuts and pizza. I want to eat asparagus, broccoli, zucchini, and chicken. And I still can't lose weight. It's very annoying.
That's a whole different show right there.
And that is called thyroid and adrenals and menopause.
Oh, yeah.
That's now the story of my life.
I know. I'm coming out of adrenal fatigue. I had really bad adrenal fatigue from October through January. And I didn't realize that. I couldn't figure out why I was so tired all the time.
Oh, yeah.
Then one day it was like, duh. So I've been
working. Your medical doctors don't check for adrenals. They check for thyroid if you're lucky.
Yeah.
And so I've had to pay probably $20,000 in the last 3 years for alternative doctors and care and supplements that my healthcare wouldn't cover or wouldn't even talk to me about.
Yeah, so, of course.
On top of the month, it's just ridiculous. It's ridiculous what we have to do. And we have to learn so much about all this stuff. It's like, I don't have time to learn about this stuff. I'm running a business and I don't want to learn about that. I just want
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So, we have a lot of listeners who are coming out of toxic relationships, abusive relationships, whatever it is, bad jobs, whatever. And, they need guidance to get back on their feet. And so for a lot of them, they have kids, and working at home is ideal. That's why I started my job or my business, my virtual assistant business, was because I had kids at home. So, for these women who they need to do something, but they don't really know what to do or how to get started, what are a couple of first steps that they can take to becoming an entrepreneur?
Well, first you have to figure out what you're selling, what you're offering, what you're going to do, like what kind of programs, products, and services you want to offer, and who's it for, and how will it help them, or what problems you'll solve. So that's the first thing. Now, a lot of people will get, I want to say, sucked in. Doesn't mean it's a bad thing, but you'll get sucked into one network marketing business or another because your friend's doing it, and they'll say, oh, you want to work from home and make your own money and la la la, and will come sell my skincare or come sell my whatever, right? And so then you get into this business that you might like the products, but it may not be your true purpose. And there's nothing wrong with doing network marketing, but the majority of them really only make a couple $1,000s a month, and that's when they get really going. So if your goal is to make a lot more money, I suggest you're going to have to figure something else out, frankly. Otherwise, it could take you a really long time. So we want to start brainstorming. What are those other things that you're good at, that you like to do, that people come to you for, that problems that you are good at solving? It could be something that you did in a previous job that you can do now as a contractor, at least for the first couple of years, to start making some money. And you can do a couple different things. So if you wanted to do health coaching and sell like Isogenics then that's fine. But I would couple something that's complementary. If you want to do a virtual assistant business, but then send out cards as a follow-up direct mail, thing, that's good too, right? So coupling things like that is still a good idea as long as it's complementary. So there are a lot of options, and I love, love, love to talk to people when they're in the beginning idea stage, because we really can find the better path for them, the best path for them, based on a more in-depth conversation, rather than just randomly doing something that your friend is doing and picking randomly.
Yeah. The network marketing, I'm a little bit biased because I can't stand it, but it works. You just, like you said, I mean, you really, really have to put a lot of effort into it and be prepared for a lot of rejection. So if you don't take rejection very well, that's probably not going to be the best path for you.
Right. My mom started doing it. I remember she is the opposite of a salesperson, the direct opposite of somebody who should be selling or talking to anybody about anything business oriented. She used to work behind the scenes on a computer in her JOBs. Okay. And then first of all, she started send out cards, and then she tried to do an online business with pet food and pet products. And I'm like, but you can't just put it up and they will come. That doesn't work, right? So you have to still talk to people and market it. And then when she figured that out, it piddled, it just, nothing happened. So I'm like, I'm a business coach. Stop doing these things without talking to me. One thing she invested in was like for $7,500, for God's sake. Somebody sold her this opportunity. And I'm like, oh my God, why didn't you ask me?
Call me first, Ma.
And she didn't get any money out. She just wasted her money, and it gave her something to do during the day, right? But she has other things she could do. She didn't have to waste $7,500 because she certainly wasn't going to sell the thing. Anyways, don't do something that's not going to fit your personality. Now, with that being said, I don't care what kind of business you start, you've got to talk to people about buying stuff from you at some level, whether you have to write it in an email or on a social media or have a phone conversation or on a video. You have to talk to people. So if you are not going to learn how to talk to people and say the right words and have that kind of a sales conversation, it's learnable. It's totally learnable. So just because you don't know how to do it now doesn't mean you can't learn. But if you're not even willing to learn, then you need to go get a job. Like, seriously. Yeah.
Yeah. You can't be afraid to ask people for money when it comes to building a business. That's for sure.
No. But you can certainly learn. Right before this interview, I was talking with a new client, and I walked her through what to say in a sales conversation, and specifically to somebody she was already trying to enroll in her coaching. And I said, this is what you say, blah, 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 and she's like, oh my God, it's all about the words. I'm going to listen back and write it down and spit it right back out. Right. And so, she got confidence because she knew the words.
Yeah, I think that's where I know I tend to get tripped up on that sometimes. It's like, what do I say? How can I say it so that they'll buy? Because you don't want to make it sound like you're trying to sell, because people want to buy. They don't like to be sold.
Right. Well, and the thing that I was telling this gal earlier is that sometimes when we offer something like, hey, would you like to sign up for my program? And then they say no. And then we just kind of let them go. Okay, thank you. And you don't actually be consistent and continue asking questions and continue saying, well, you said you wanted this and this is going to help you with that. And what is it about that you don't see the value, or what
right.
You don't go deeper with it. You have to keep asking questions and going deeper. Otherwise, you're enabling the person to not get the help they really need. So if you think about it that way, you're enabling them when you just let them go and you don't continue asking them more questions and really trying to get them enrolled. If you know it's the perfect thing for you and you're confident you can support them, then you should try everything you've got to get them enrolled, because it's going to help them. And they wanted help and came to you in the first place. So why are you going to let them off the hook and let them succumb to their own fears and limiting beliefs, which is why they're saying no in the first place, unless you haven't shown the value. So there's a lot of different things that go on in that kind of a situation.
Yeah, for sure. This has been really fun, catching up and learning a little bit more about the woman behind the scenes. So I am so glad that you came on and reached out to come on the show.
Oh, well, thank you. I love inspiring.
Yeah. I know you could talk about this all day long, and I know you and I could probably talk about this all day long, but to be respectful of everybody's time, let's make sure everybody knows how to find you. Yes.
Well, jumpstartyourmarketing.com is my main website, jumpstartyourmarketing.com. And there's a few actual free trainings on the resources page. So if you go under resources, it'll say free trainings. And there's a couple on there that really pertain to what we're talking about today. There's the Live Big free audio, and that one's really for helping you brainstorm what to do. And then the Love Yourself Successful audio is the one that helps you get over feeling that you're not confident or you're doubting yourself or the toxic people. So go check those out. Awesome. And take an action and stuff. So, and then there's other business ones on there too, but go get started somewhere.
Yeah, definitely. You've got to start somewhere. Just sitting or staring at your computer isn't going to do it. So yeah, definitely go take action. Awesome. Thank you so much, Katrina, for coming on. Ladies, as always, thank you so much for listening. It means everything to me to be able to share these amazing people with you. So have a fantastic week, and we will talk to you next week on the show. Thanks.